Hello, 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 and this is the Urban Surfer Glenn T. You are listening to another episode of Riding the Wave. And again, thank you for tuning in. I do love the support, the comments, the questions. Do love to be interactive with the audience. For those of you guys who want to reach out to me, my Facebook is rtw.podcast. My Twitter is Glenn_town. And my Gmail is ridingthewave.podcast@gmail.com. If you want to find the show, Riding the Wave, you can look it up on iTunes, Stitcher, Podbean, SoundCloud, YouTube, Spreaker, and Spotify. They're all featured there. More venues to come. Just wanted to know how you guys are all doing out there today. Hopefully you guys are being productive. You guys are getting to where you're going safely and just staying in your lane. Today's topic, just jumping right into it, is giving up. I know a lot of people have troubles with that, so I just wanted to touch base with that. Again, my shows are never too long, but they tend to be a little fruitful. These are certainly my perceptions, my opinions. These are my realities. They're certainly my own. My only goal is to change one mind a day in a positive way. If I can do so, wonderful. Otherwise, I'm going back to the drawing board. And for all you podcasters, if you do want to feature me on your show, I'll be more than happy. Just reach out to me. Definitely like to interact with people that have great minds. Hopefully we can make a difference together. So just kind of getting into it a little bit. I just want to go right into that topic about giving up, because a lot of people have trouble with that, right? It could be on a small scale, it could be on a large scale, but we can't ignore it. People give up all the time. I mean, how many of you guys out there that were doing podcasting thought about giving up at one point, right? But if you would have gave up, guess what? We wouldn't have been rewarded with such good information, right? So certainly crossed my mind with everything else, not just podcasting, but with things that, you just have some level of consistency to. It must be a whisper or something to that effect. Some people hear it later on, some people don't, but it's about giving up. Not on a small scale. Some people give up completely, right? Say, I don't want to live life anymore. I mean, I've personally known people that actually have. So, giving up is something I just want to touch bases on. So what do you guys think about that, right? Suggestions, comments, questions. I'd like to know how you feel about that. And if you have any suggestions as far as, what to do to prevent yourself from doing so. Right? I'm just going to throw my opinions out there during the course of this show just to kind of hopefully change your mind out there or get you to think in a broader sense. So just kind of getting into it about giving up. Did you check out already? Sometimes you may not even realize it, but you may have given up already, right? There's some people out there that live their everyday lives, but they're just living it because it's just a survival sense. They know nothing else but to just wake up, feed themselves, use the restroom and things like that. I mean, I know people out there that may have checked out already, and I don't feel too comfortable about that. There's a lot of life left, and there's a lot of ambition, and just to be honest, I think that we should not be the one to determine when we're going to stop something unless it's just on a small scale. Like for business, for instance, right? You have a business and it's starting to do bad. It's tanking. I mean, I'm sure you're going to pull the plug. You're not just going to go ahead and ride it out until, until you have nothing left, not even your name, right? We know when to cut our losses. But this is more about giving up, and there may not be a loss in sight. So this is something that we would want to just kind of touch base on, right? So how do you know if you checked out already? How do you know if you just said, hey, done, survival mode now, right? I don't care what day it is, what week it is, what month it is, day or night, I'm going to live this way indefinitely, survival mode, autopilot. How do you know? I'm just going to throw one out there. Do you set any goals for yourself, whether large or small? That could be a sign that you have no interest in life, right? You have no interest in the certain field that you're in, when you have no more goals in that direction. You no longer want to include yourself in any progress or any production moving forward. So therefore you just opt out. Say, hey, listen, I don't want to set any goals for this job anymore. I don't want to set any goals for life anymore. I don't want to set any goals in this direction anymore. Between you and me, I think that's a good sign, or that's a good gauge, right? That you may have checked out. Forget it. You threw your hands up, right? Your goals are no longer. You don't see yourself being any more successful, any more intelligent, any more anything. Because these are all goals, by the way, to increase your knowledge, to increase your health. Maybe you broaden your horizons, you travel, you do different foods and meet people, right? These are all goals. With work, we already know, you can educate yourself. You can continue to work on merit in certain directions. Hey, I want this position, so I'm going to do that, right? That's a goal. If you don't have any, there's a safe bet to say you may have checked out, whether it's in life altogether or just in the direction specific to where you stop planning. Now, I'm gonna split hairs a little bit with this one, right? Because it can kind of come across as the same, but really it has its distinguishing features. But another sign that you may have checked out, right? How do you feel about if you lost your drive? Right? Because a person that has drive, they may just have drive without any direction. Setting goals is kind of directional, right? Drive is just, hey, this person has a full tank of gas. If you have no drive, couch potato, you sit around, you really don't do too much. You don't produce, you don't create any works, you don't give back. You just don't have any drive. I think it's safe to say that you may have checked out, right? I mean that's another telltale sign, at least for me. And again, these perceptions, these are my realities, these are my opinions. I'm not expecting to have a bunch of twins out there, carbon copies. But if you relate, if you feel what I'm saying, just understand it for that. This show is about giving up today, right? And for those of you just tuning in, this is the Urban Surfer Glenn T. You are listening to Riding the Wave currently. And today's topic is just giving up. We just want to know if you checked out already. A lot of people gave up on a lot of things, all the way up to and including life, right? So we just want to know if you have any goals, right? That's a quick gauge. Do you want to be included? Do you want to plan? Do you have any direction in life? When you wake up, do you have any goals to make your bed, to eat, to go to the store, to get dressed, to work, anything? Do you have any goals, right? And now, do you have the drive to do these things, right? Because that's another sign, right? Do you have the ability to get out your bed and actually go and create a whole day for yourself where you do things and continue to do these things indefinitely? Usually when you don't want to do these things anymore, that's a sign that you've given up, right? And I mean, just to be completely obvious with this one, I'm just going to toss out happiness, right? You can tell when a person has already checked out when they're moping around. Have you ever met a person like that? Any comments, suggestions, questions? I mean, you can roll out the red carpet for this person and they can be just as miserable as if somebody just called them and said their mother died. Where does that come from? I mean, a person can wait on you hand and foot and do things for you that a normal person wouldn't do, or create a lifestyle for you that is not lived by a person that is normal, right? It's like kind of like a hyperbole type of lifestyle, right? Just exaggeration altogether. And it may not be an exaggeration to many, but just to the working class, you can have a person that has all of the amenities in life and still be miserable. You have some nerve. How do you get to that point where you can't be happy with things in life that make just about everybody happy, right? That's another sign that you've checked out. I mean, you're numb, right? You're no longer happy. You're wearing your book of deeds on your face, so if a person can see the darkness or the misery, the melancholy on your face, right? And those people, I mean, honestly, if you do feel that way, I truly and honestly feel that you should just be alone. Be around other people like you. But don't steal other people's joy. I think that's unfair. And they say life isn't fair, but that's a conscious unfair statement, right? That's a conscious unfair action, pardon. So that would be unfair. And again, we can go back and forth with that. But these are just signs that I said somebody's possibly giving up, right? You checked out already. You may have no more goals. You lost your drive. You're just an unhappy person. So what makes you want to, right? What makes you want to give up? Because we can identify it, right? But what truly makes you want to give up? Say, hey, I don't want to do this no more. What makes you actually feel that way? Any suggestions, questions, comments? And if you want to reach out to me, it's rtw.podcast at Facebook, Glenn_town at Twitter, and my Gmail is ridingthewave.podcast at Gmail. I do check these things, and I love your comments and suggestions, so continue there. So what makes you want to give up, right, or check out, right? What makes you want to just say, hey, I don't want to deal with this anymore, right? This job, this lifestyle, this person, this relationship. Just I don't want to deal with this. Is it the people, right? What makes you want to give up? Is it people that make you want to give up? It may not necessarily be you. You may have the ability to do things indefinitely, but the people just beat you up so much, right? Whether it's a person, a group of people, just the human race. They're just too much for you and makes you want to check out, right? Just makes you want to not handle this job anymore, not want to deal with this life anymore, this relationship. People can be cruel. That's true. But is it truly worth it just to give up? My mother always said, you can't give up because that's giving the other person more power, right? I mean, if you think about it, it is. Whether it's the job or the relationship or otherwise. I mean, you just get the gist and apply it. I mean, the person or the people that are making you feel like you're defeated, are they any better than you? I mean, in life, we're not comparing paychecks because a lot of times people have their own endeavors. They pursue their own goals in that direction. But check this person's moral compass. Are they worth you feeling this way? I mean, a person can make you feel a certain way and they can be looked at in life like garbage. I mean, who's to judge, right? Really, no one's ever able to really truly judge a character, but they can judge actions. Is this person worth making you feel like you don't want to continue the race? Or how about this? Is it you? Is it you that just, no matter what it is, you're just feeling jaded? Like no matter what, you feel, hey, I don't feel like doing this. There's other people that can do it better than me, or there's other people that want it more than I do. Maybe it's you. I really want you to sit back and think about that one. Because it's not always the people or your surroundings. It could just be you. You have no drive, or you don't see any better for yourself. You may just be depressed. Life beats you up. You've been through one too many scenarios, and now you can't think for yourself. I just want to tell you, snap out of it. The most you're going to get out of this is a back rub, if that. Right? Stop being so weak. You have to tighten up. Honestly. That day you're trying to dodge, it's going to come anyway. Why hasten it? There's so much in between that you may be able to change your life entirely just if you keep on striving, right? Just make better decisions. Get out of that job that's making you miserable. Leave that relationship, right? So just think about it. It could be you. Just food for thought. And again, these perceptions and opinions are my own. These are my own realities. I just want to give you guys something to go on, right? How about just being confused? Some people give up because they're confused and they just can't think no more. Should I go this way, that way, this way, that way? Oh, too much. Hands up in the air, autopilot. How many times did that happen? And see, that's why I said giving up doesn't have to be so drastic, because when you think about confusion, I mean, you know, that there may be on a lighter note, right? It's easier to relate when you're confused about this or that, this or that. You know, carrots or broccoli? I mean, ranch or blue cheese? Neither, right? Both, right? Just, you know, you just want to stop thinking, right? That's a version of giving up. I mean, it's easy to see things through, and it's also easy to give up, but it just depends on where you're at with yours, right? The drive and things like that. And for those of you just tuning in, this is the Urban Surfer Glenn T. You have been riding the wave so far. Today's topic is just giving up, and we already went over, you know, just kind of the signs, right? The pulse check to see if it is true that somebody might have checked out, right? No more goals, no more drive, miserable, right? Unhappy. And we also just talked a little bit about what makes you want to check out or want to give up. Could be people. It could be yourself. You could just be tired of choosing and going one way or another, right? Confused, right? So how do you get back in the game? Any questions, suggestions, comments? You know I love to hear them. I usually respond pretty swiftly. What do you guys feel will get you back into the game? Because sometimes things can be difficult, and sometimes you can be a little bit scared about what you just jumped out of, right? Just it's easier to kind of throw your hands up now. It's become a routine. You know, it usually starts off small. Then you just get better at giving up. So it goes into larger realms, and you start giving up on bigger things. So how do you get back in the game? The same way you got into it. Start off small. Set small goals all the time. I don't care how small they are. I plan on pouring me some juice, and then you actually do it at the time you said you would do it. Or when you get up, I'm going to make my bed. I'm going to walk my dog. I'm going to go for a jog. It starts to get bigger, right? But you want to start off with small goals consistently. I'm going to eat with my right hand. I'm going to call this person on a Tuesday, you know, since we're interested in each other. I'll make sure every Tuesday I make time. But this is the help. You know, this will get you back in the game. Just start off with some small goals. Don't overwhelm yourself. You know, you guys do too much and start to overwhelm yourself, and guess what? You pull the plug yourself, right? So just kind of start off small, do it all the time, and, you know, reward yourself as you go, right? Another way to kind of get yourself back in the game, right, is to kind of try something new. You may be jaded. You may be bored by the things that you've been doing for so long that you may just want to try something new. Go ahead and do it. What's stopping you? You know that trip that you always wanted to take that you never took because I don't know what it'll feel like to go by myself. Go pack a bag. Take a few days off from work or something. Go ahead and get out of town, catch a flight or something. You know, do something different. Jumpstart yourself. That's how you prevent yourself from giving up. Try something new. I always wanted to try to learn a new language, right? So try and learn that new language. It can be silly, right? I always wanted to learn how to bowl. These are hypothetical examples, not me necessarily, but just saying, right? I possibly want to bowl, and all of a sudden I just find myself in a bowling alley, maybe twice a month, right? just picking it up a little bit. I can see that working for somebody who wants to get back into life. What about relationships? Starting off small with that too works. Right? We don't want to start going in a dating scene and then start talking marriage and all types of living together and stuff like that. Or we don't want to just jump in the pool and start taking 15, 20 people on. You just want to take your time. Nice and slow. Start off with something small, right? Maybe a couple of people serve your interests. Get to know a couple of people, and then if one becomes a little more serious, then you just let the other person know. Say, hey, listen, I don't know if this is going to move forward. And I mean, this is just an opinion again. Not saying this is the way or this is something paved in stone or anything like that. You never dated out your race. Go ahead and try that. Try something new. You've always been the breadwinner in a relationship, right? Try to get with somebody that's doing a little bit financially stronger than you. Or you've always been the smarter person in your relationship. Try to find somebody that can outdo you intellectually. Give yourself a challenge. That's a good way of getting back into the game, right? Try something new, challenge yourself. And I mean overall, if we're really looking to prevent ourselves from giving up, or we've given up already and we just want to get back, and we feel that frustration of not being able to, the best thing I can truly and honestly say is just be patient. Be patient, because if not, you're gonna always give up. Sometimes it takes a long time before you see your break. You continually do something and do something and do something, and you don't see any results. It's easy to give up then. But just be patient. Learn to wait and just see things for what they are. I mean, are you doing this thing because you're trying to get something out of it? Then you'll know for sure if you're wasting your time or not, and you'll be able to act accordingly. But again, if you're just trying to get back into the game and prevent from giving up, just be patient. Start off small. Try something new. I just want to thank you guys for listening in. You have been listening to the Urban Surfer Glenn T. This is Riding the Wave. Please get where you're going safely. Stay in your lane. And be productive. Once again, thank you and take care.